I grudge them man, you know. I true him a fight for black liberation. And him a one true warrior. Them a want to try stop him. But them can't stop the man. Them can't stop Rahiem Shabazz. That's why anytime me want to listen to revolutionary liberation vibes, me tune into Necessary Blackness Podcast. Me not hear them little yaga podcast them. I be your Necessary Blackness me rock with. Anytime me want your true warrior talking.
Elementary Genocide provides a critical expose of mass incarceration, the war on drugs, and the connection between slavery, capitalism, and the prison industrial complex. Visit our website at www.elementarygenocide.com. Now available, Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. Elementary Genocide 2, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And the newest release, Elementary Genocide 3, Academic Holocaust. Log on today to purchase your very own 3-set docuseries.
Wingy Apparel is the latest fly and revolutionary streetwear to hit the market. Wingy is the outfitters of freedom fighters everywhere. Wingy is a Swahili word that means abundance. No one has ever gone broke by giving. So if you have it in abundance, sharing is better than receiving. Follow us on Instagram at Wingy Apparel. That's at WINGIAPPAREL.
Necessary Blackness Podcast is independently owned, and we do not accept sponsorship dollars from corporations. We are supported by the people such as yourself who know that in war, the first casualty is the truth. We are at war with racism and white supremacy. We must continue to tell the truth. Support us by purchasing your Necessary Blackness t-shirt by sending an email to necessaryblacknesspodcast@gmail.com.
Necessary Blackness Podcast, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with award-winning journalist and filmmaker Rahiem Shabazz. This podcast is only for those who are unapologetic, because the mind of the conscious man or woman recognizes no monopoly on truth. Truth is relative and always to be sought.
Peace and power, Black family. This is your host, Rahiem Shabazz, and I am here with my lovely guest, Marci Lee.
What's up, people?
And this is another episode of Necessary Blackness Podcast. So this is going to be 2 episodes in a row.
Okay.
Is this a routine? Is this something that's going to be continuous? Or is this...
We shall see. We shall see.
Okay, family. We're going to take it as we're lucky to have her here for 2 episodes, and she has graced us with her presence. But I think this might be something continuous.
I thank you for having me back. I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of people, they always ask where you are. And, I always tell them that you're doing good. You're in good health. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're working on various business ventures.
Right.
And, you got your family and things like that. So I know what it is, but they miss you. So it's definitely my pleasure to have you back. A lot of things have transpired. Trump is still the president of everybody except you and me.
All right. Yeah.
Recently, Joe Biden, who is the Democratic nominee, picked his vice president, which is Kamala Harris.
Wow. What you think about that?
Man, I've been getting a lot of slack, man.
Because all them posts you've been putting up.
But I just want to... Look, I put up the post with very little commentary, right? Because I want people to be free thinkers, and I don't want you to change your mind because of something I said. You should know better. Clips that I did put up is the clip where the young lady, and shout out to that sister, I actually know her, but I just don't remember her name. I'm bad with names. But the young lady asked her, when she talked about if she becomes president, this is when she was contending to become the president of the United States. And she went into the history of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation in the Reconstruction period, and
avoiding the question.
And then she said, any policy that she implement by default is going to help Black people. Why? Because Black people need the help the most. So listen to this. So it didn't make no sense, right? And she was avoiding the question. So the young lady asked her, is there anything specific that you're going to do for black people? And she said, oh, if you think I'm going to do something specifically for black people, that's not going to happen.
All right.
And I just wanted people to see that because there's a lot of celebration.
And the clip with Gabby.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, because you're basically putting up information so that the voters can make an informed decisions about who they supporting. And I think the problem is people want to be able to hide, and they want the easy way out. We've been served Miss Kamala and said, they're telling us this is the Democratic vice president, to be with Joe Biden. And I think that people want to be happy about that because they see her as being an African American. So once again,
questionable, but
which once again, they feel like they're being represented. But what I feel like you're doing is saying, are you being represented though? Does she have your best interest? Let's take a look at her record. Let's take a look at what she's done for black people. Has she harmed black people?
Absolutely.
Yes, she has. So for all these people who are giving you slack and who are criticizing you, they want to keep the blinders on.
Yo, even my family member.
Hey.
Even my family member. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something, right? Don't let no handkerchief head Negro come in at the 11th hour and all of a sudden he's a political analyst. If you don't get the hell out of here, man, you know what I mean? Let me tell you something, right? And I dare anybody to ask me why I'm not voting.
Okay.
That 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden authored and a lot of those black Democrats and them civil rights leaders signed directly impact me.
How quickly black people forget. He also...
No, I don't forget because...
No, I'm saying you have it. I'm saying...
enemy lines for 6 years because of that crime bill. So when people tell me, at least 10 people told this to me today, yo, not voting for Joe Biden is a vote for Donald Trump. Who are you voting for, right? I told them I'm voting for my interests, and neither one of them fits my interest. So I guess I answered your question.
I know. So because there's other nominees or candidates at this point, as far as the presidential campaign. You have the Green Party. There's other parties. That's one thing I don't understand.
No, but none of them is on the ticket. It's only going to be
the independent. I think it's the independent and the Green Party. There's always, it's just that they're not going to be in like the preliminaries. They're going to be at the prime.
End?
Yeah. So
coming up with like 20,000 votes.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I understand.
And they're actually not that strong. Like I think years in the past.
At one time they was strong though, the Green Party.
Yeah, because we had Cynthia McKinney. So she was strong, and even last year, I forget the lady. She was the doctor. I forget her name. But no, we have options. The thing is, we wait until the last minute. I wasn't feeling Joe Biden from the get because I know he had a part to play with Anita Hill too. Back in the day with Clarence Thomas,
yeah, Clarence
he played a big part in helping to destroy that woman. You know what I'm saying? A black woman who was sexually, what was the word?
She was sexually molested?
No. He was
sexually
harassing her. He was sexually harassing her. And, everyone forgets about that. That's why I said, black people's memory is so short. Like we don't recall all of the atrocities that have been made against us over time. He's been around for a long time. Joe Biden. So
let me tell you something, right, family? The only difference between Joe Biden and all the other racist white president is that he worked for a black man for 8 years. That's the only difference.
He's an opportunist.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to get him to where he's trying to go, he'll chuck and jive too. Like he'll put that smile on. What is it called? Duplicity? Mm-hmm. Or no, it's duality. Like they are one way in your face, another way behind closed doors. And I feel like he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get to where he's trying to go. So if that means being second to a black man because he's been promised something, he's going to do it.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
And family, be very mindful, man, of everybody's interest, right? When you having all these people that is posting these hashtags, HBCU alumni, Black Woman Rock, you know, it's almost like, you know, what is this, a college reunion? Like, we voting on the president or we voting on the sorority? You know what I mean? AKA sister. And like,
that's one thing that
people have their various interests of why they want her to be in office, but no one is looking at that when she was in control, not as a senator, but as the district attorney in California, she imprisoned more black men than anybody in that state.
Why is that? She had to prove herself.
Yeah.
You know, she was playing her position.
And they know that. And they know, listen, right? They couldn't vote in, or they didn't want a person like Stacey Abrams.
Okay.
Right?
Stacey Abrams.
They know is not going to go along, you know, to be along. They know she's not going to do that. So Kamala Harris is tried and tested, and they know that she knows how to operate within the system of racism and white supremacy, and she has no problem with locking black folks up.
Right, and the question is, are black people going to see past that? Like, are they going to have blinders on once again? Or are they going to open their eyes, do the work? Are they going to accept her? Like, what are we going to do as a people? We keep on falling for the okie doke.
We as a people, we already said, you know, everybody was saying this. If you don't have a black agenda, we are not voting for you. So far, she hasn't presented a black agenda. You know, when reparations was proposed to her, she said no reparations for descendants of slaves. She said she's not doing nothing specifically for descendants of slaves.
Right.
So when people say we have to vote in our best interest, y'all know who I'm voting for. I'm voting on myself.
Okay.
Because they're not for our interests. Have you been getting any slack? Let me tell you, man, people, it's to the point where I started making it a joke to people. I'm like, oh, y'all really want to get riled up? All right, how about I cut off my comments? Yo, you cut off your comments? Oh, they get real tight. Now they all up in your inbox. You know, I really don't care, man, that she is a descendant of a Jamaican and Indian.
Does she claim it?
Listen,
you know?
She claim everything but her blackness, right?
Right.
Only when it's time to be black. But
no, only when it's time to get that black vote.
Yeah, when it's time to be black.
Okay.
The black vote. So there's a birth certificate that Judge Joe Brown posted.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, Judge Joe Brown.
He be keeping it 100.
Yeah, he came with the receipts too. And on her birth certificate, mom and daddy said she white.
Right.
Right? Now, when she was in California and the senator, they was hailing her as the first Asian American, right? There's a YouTube clip where they interviewed her extensively, and they asked her what type of food she liked, and she said she only liked Indian food, you know, and that's not wrong. If that's your culture and that's who you know, that's how you was raised and that's how you grew up, yo, listen, claim that.
You know what? I'm feeling torn because I feel like for the last decade, you know, we've been told to keep it real. Like, black people have been told to keep it real and say who you are and stand in your power. And I just feel like everyone else, they play the game. Like, you know, when you think about gerrymandering, when you think about all of the rules that white people or non-black people seem to get away with, Like they just maneuver. And I feel like there is something to learn from that. Mm-hmm. And when I think about the situation and what you're talking about, it makes me feel like she just played the game. She was playing the game. And I can't really fault her for that. I'm just looking at us now. Like, are we going to call her to task? Are we going to hold her responsible? Like, what are we going to do in response to what, she has given us?
Let me say this first, right? Mm. So black people can stay on code, right? Y'all need to know that when someone says the first vice president, the first
female
black woman vice president, that is nothing to champion. That is nothing to cheer about. That is saying that you are the first black person they allow to enter into their system of racism and white supremacy. That's all that's saying. That doesn't make you the magical Negro. You the one that they're going to point to and say, you know what? There's no racism. Look at Kamala Harris is vice president. So y'all need to stop that. The first black woman who's going to be the vice president. Listen, man.
It's almost like they care more about the title, the optics versus
right back to what you said, the
optics. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing we as a people, I think we have to overcome, how everything look versus how things really are. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things are not what they appear. And we all know that. But it's like it's almost like we're not actively thinking about that because we care too much about the optic. So in regards to Kamala, I'm good on her. And I said that last year when we talked about her when she was trying to become president, when she was a presidential candidate. So I'm good on her. I'm good on Biden. And it don't mean that Trump is getting a vote from me either. It's just, I guess it's going to be a wash.
It's going to be a wash. That's the new word.
I mean, they need to put up somebody we can get behind. Forget that. I'm done with that.
But you know what was more disheartening than anything, right? Because politics is going to be politics and certain things we don't have control over. Man, I'm talking about some very prominent people as far as the social media world, right? Mm. Blue check, I like to call them blue check Twitter.
Okay.
Anybody that was challenging or saying anything about Kamala Harris record, we need to hold the record up. Anybody that was doing that, they were saying, why is you bashing and trying to take down another black woman?
Why are you trying to stifle growth? We have to have a conversation. This is serious. This is not something to be on one side and not have, not accept challenges. You want to make sure you're making the right decision, right? Absolutely. So why is it that you only want people to support or to give you what you want? If they have some additional information that can help in a situation to make the best decision, why are you scared? What you scared for?
Because they already been told by the Democratic Party, this is the pick. This is who your white zaddy said is going to be the runner for the vice president. And that's who y'all going to accept.
Well, I think the presidential election needs to be changed. It needs to be totally reformed. And the thing is, people don't want to do the work. They'd rather just stay with what's not working. They're like, you know what? We complain every year. We have a problem every year, but we're not going to do anything about it. No one has done anything about the Electoral College. Everybody's upset about what happened with Bush and then what happened with Trump. Who has done anything? Nobody.
But so, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all, right? So y'all know this, right? If Joe Biden becomes the president of the United States, right? The only thing he's going to do that's probably real good, everybody, is probably get this COVID-19 thing under control because Trump just don't give a fuck. I think Joe Biden will do that for the American people. Mm. And you know what? That's something that really, I was looking at
what you think that's going to need? What?
Yo, what's the numbers? It's crazy.
Man.
I'm like, man, I shouldn't be watching CNN.
But you know what? Why you need the president to? It's common sense. Stay home.
No. You're gonna need something more than that. You're gonna need they're gonna have to lock
because it's more
down.
It's things outside of ourselves. There's people who don't believe it. They believe that it's not real. So I understand what you're saying.
They open up schools, right? one person affected the whole entire school. Like,
wow.
You didn't think that was gonna happen, yo.
What do you think he's gonna do, Joe?
He's gonna get it under control. They're gonna do something.
Martial law?
No, not martial law, but for starters, he's gonna put back that department that Obama had. Mm-hmm. Where he warned in 5 years.
He dismantled it.
We need to keep funding this department because in 5 years there'll be an epidemic, and if we don't foresee it or don't have the infrastructure in place, it's going to run rampant. The one that Trump came in. Do you know this idiot the other day said that he overturned 89% of what Barack did? Anything that Barack did, legislation, law, executive order, 89% of it he overturned. See, and this is what people don't understand, man. Trump hates this man. You know what I mean? And he's
that's because
whether it was a good policy, legislation, rule, or anything.
Obama should not have clowned him the way he did at that dinner. That's what this is all about.
You think it's about
yes,
that?
it's about that at that
what they call it again? Where they do the
I can't remember, but it's the one where all of the media people have that dinner in Washington, and he's like basically stopped that because he was getting too much criticism. But that time when Obama humiliated him in front of everybody, and we were just looking at Trump like, yeah, he'll never become president. Like he's such a loser, and that's the one thing I respect about Trump. Is that he did put his mind to it and he became president. Like he made that happen.
But I don't even think he believed he was gonna be president.
Maybe it was the powers that be rallied behind him. It was like, what?
You know what? He said it. He put it out there. I'm sure he didn't imagine him being president, and it just grew a life of its own. And it got so big where it became a reality for him.
Somebody made it happen because he didn't even win the popular vote. Okay, so we're talking about defunding or
Black Lives Matter and all that. And he's talking about getting more police.
Hey, they letting you know what it is. Yeah. So they're not hiding anything.
No.
I really don't have nothing more to say about it because I feel like they're not really hiding like they used to.
No,
they're out in the open. I think we convince ourselves of what we want it to be, and they telling you what it is. They keeping it. They're telling us what they're doing.
1,000.
They telling us. So what are we gonna do with it? So you're trying to defund the police, and they're saying, first order of business, we're getting more police. You gonna vote for him? You still gonna vote for him? Because what? He was boys with Obama?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And then people are even saying Obama didn't do for black people that what we needed him to do.
So Obama didn't do it. What makes you think Joe Biden's going to do it?
Okay.
Listen, if you're mad that Obama didn't do nothing, guess what? You're going to get more than half of that less from Joe Biden.
Y'all need to threaten to withhold your vote unless, like you said, that agenda.
Yeah, that agenda.
And big up to Ice Cube.
Yeah, Ice Cube got something going on.
So maybe we can rally behind Ice Cube. We need to get something going now. If we give, because Ice Cube has a huge platform. If we say, if all black people got on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever, and said, we're not voting unless you get behind Ice Cube, some changes will happen. We have to get together.
Yeah, they need to have a meeting and say, yo, listen, this is Black America.
We're not taking it serious. We're not taking it serious.
Well, you know what? We don't have to take it serious. We're going to be forced to take it serious because come January, it's either going to be 4 more years of Trump or it's going to be Jim Crow Biden and top cop Kamala Harris.
And it ain't funny, but it's just...
You pick your poison. Regardless of what happened, all of that, since you didn't vote, that was a vote for Trump. Let me tell you something, man. People get the leaders they deserve. If Trump is president, guess what? That's because y'all deserve him. If Joe Biden is president, that's because y'all deserve him. Me, I'm not looking for no leadership. I look for leadership within myself. And with that, I'm going to conclude this interview. You got something else you want to say?
I have nothing else to say. Well, you know what I do want to say? look into Ice Cube's contract for Black America.
Yeah.
We got to start somewhere. So that's the last thing
I'm going to post a link to that in the description on this podcast, on our YouTube, on our Instagram, on our Facebook. Make sure you follow us at Necessary Blackness Podcast, at Rahiem Shabazz, at
Forever Marci Lee.
And we out. Peace and Black Power, family.
Necessary Blackness Podcast is independently owned, and we do not accept sponsorship dollars from corporations. We are supported by the people such as yourself who know that in war, the first casualty is the truth. We are at war with racism and white supremacy. We must continue to tell the truth. Support us by purchasing your Necessary Blackness t-shirt by sending an email to necessaryblacknesspodcast@gmail.com.
Necessary Blackness Podcast, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with award-winning journalist and filmmaker Rahiem Shabazz. This podcast is only for those who are unapologetic, because the mind of the conscious man or woman recognizes no monopoly on truth. Truth is relative and always to be sought.